Welcome, everybody, to Sports on Tap. My name is Ed Dick, and alongside Rob Traubman, Josh Jeffy will be joining us here shortly. And Sean Duffy is out on assignment right now. And this is week one of our high school football coverage. Welcome to our YouTube page at Sports on Tap. You can catch us at on our Facebook page, Sports on Tap. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at SOT Podcast. That's where you're going to get all the updates at our live when we are out at our games this week. We had two games that we'll go over. We had two featured games of the week. We'll go over those a little bit later in the show. And then let me tell you about the general script of the show. We're going to go through our conferences. We have four conferences, as everybody may well know: the Suburban League, the Great Lakes Conference, the Southwestern Conference, and the Greater Cleveland Conference. We're going to go through the scores and a little bit of stats for those four conferences. We will have two interviews today of our player of our G&G Fitness Equipment Player of the Week nominee.
Recording in progress.
One of which will be senior quarterback from Holy Name, Jayvon Williams, and we also have from Medina, Danny Stoddard, both having turning in great efforts in winning games for their respective teams. So we're going to talk to both of those student athletes here later. And then we're going to go through our featured games of the week. And then we'll get ready for week two. It's a very action-packed 90 minutes that we try to get in here for you guys. Starting with week 4, we will have a Power 10 ranking. We will go through who we believe, and by we, I mean looks like me, are the best of the top 10 teams in the area out of the four conferences that we cover. Now, I will preface this by saying I want to do this. I want to be transparent with how I'm going to do this. It's going to be more based off of wins and losses than it will, can this team beat this team? I think it's the most fair way to do it. We can come up with a couple of examples as to what team can beat what team in our coverage area. But being that ours, we want to do something a little different if we can. So we're going to try it out and see what happens here. So Josh has now joined us. I want to thank our sponsors. We have G&G Fitness Equipment. Follow them at livefit.com. They also sponsor, they are the sponsor of our player. They're one of our big sponsors. RRT Productions, you shoot, we shoot, we edit, you win. Ray Felton State Farm. He is at 234-284-2996 out of Hudson. Call Ray's office for a free auto quote to see if you can save some money on your auto insurance. We also have GV Artwork. Use our promo code ONTAP10 to save 10% off of your order. And we have a new sponsor this year, Bandwagon Fantasy Sports. Think you know college football better than us? Join our free league on the Bandwagon Fantasy app to find out. Bandwagon is the only simple, engaging, and competitive fantasy sports platform focused on teams rather than individual players. You can join our league. The league name is Sports on Tap CFB 2022, passcode SOT. And we'll get into a little bit more as to how that works later in the episode. But guys, we're here. We're ready to roll. And week 1 is in the books a little bit earlier than we were used to seeing it. But let's get to it. Josh, as we normally do, welcome. And let's get going with Greater Cleveland Conference.
Hey, Ed, thanks a lot. Sorry, guys, I came on a little late having some week 1 technical difficulties, but we are back and better than ever, at least for right now. Not a overall good week, opening week in the Greater Cleveland Conference. Out of the 6 teams that are in the GCC, only 2 of them got victories. So the first game we're going to start with was a heavy-hitting heavyweight matchup between the Menor Cardinals and the Canton-McKinley Bulldogs. This was actually a regional semifinal matchup from last year in the playoffs. And getting the start for Menor was a sophomore quarterback, Scotty Fox, and he impressed in this game. He had 3 touchdown passes, 2 to senior wide receiver Jordan Stapleton. He also had a touchdown pass to Nick Jarris. Mitchell Waite was the key contributor on offense for the Cardinals. He had an 80-yard touchdown run, and then he added another touchdown run late in the game. So Menor came out of the gate solid. with a 34-21 victory over the Canton McKinley Bulldogs. The other team to win in the GCC is the Medina Bees. They were led by Danny Stoddard. He had 325 yards, 4 touchdown passes. A lot of those went to Brennan Schramm, of course. He had 104 yards of receiving in this one. This game was actually very close. It was actually 10-10 going into the fourth quarter. And then Medina, they found their offensive juggernaut that was of last year. That came back this year. They scored 23 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to come away with a 33-10 victory over Warren G. Harding. Now, we're getting into the kind of the rough spot here for the Greater Cleveland Conference. We're going to start. Brunswick traveled to Cleveland Heights, and it was tough for the Blue Devils. They did have sophomore quarterback starting for them. He had 2 rushing touchdowns in this game, both of 44 yards, but give credit to the Cleveland Heights. Their defense was very tough, and not allowing Brunswick to get anything going really on the offensive end. A lot of turnovers in this game. Brunswick comes away with a 43-13 loss in this one. Another solid performance, not by a Greater Cleveland Conference team. Aurora 38-6 over the Euclid Panthers. You know, debuting a new coach, trying to get something established there, but once again, turnovers and mistakes were big time for the Euclid Panthers in this one, especially on the first drive. There were 2 fumbles alone. Luckily, they were able to get both of them back, but they struggled nonetheless to get into the end zone except for one drive. It was an 80-yard, 10-play drive. However, the extra point was blocked, leading to their only points of the game. Euclid falls to 0-1 on the season with a 38-6 loss to Aurora. Probably the best game in the Greater Cleveland Conference was Hudson against Solon. Hudson squeaks away with a 14-13 victory over the Comets. For Solon, Harley Barman was the quarterback. He had 198 yards and 1 touchdown pass. That one was to Brian McQuaid. Hudson's defense, though, was key for them in this victory. They stopped many drives, especially in the second half. Solon could not get that advantage to go ahead in this game, and they ended up losing 14-13 in this one. Now, one of our featured games pitted Avon Lake against Strongsville, and in this game, it was all Avon Lake, 38-0 over the Mustangs. Now, in this one, Rob will talk a little bit more when it comes to his update about the Avon Lake side, but I'll specifically go towards the Strongsville side. They were starting sophomore quarterback Nolan Beard. In this one, he is the younger brother of last year's starter Maddox Beard. And I tell you what, he looked a little inexperienced in this one. He did on his drop back passes. Well, it was quick to advance out of the pocket and look for throws downfield, and he just could not convert on that. He only passed for 68 yards and 1 interception in this game. But you got to give credit to the Avon Lake defense. They stopped not only the passing game. Excuse me, you can hear my dog in the background if you can't hear her. But they also stopped the running game. For Strongsville, they had 3 running backs that combined for 15 rushing attempts for only 58 yards. So both offenses started off a little slow in this game, and I think that could go for many games in week 1. The offenses got off to a very slow start, and the defenses prevailed. Your better teams, your more experienced teams, found their niche later on in the first half or even in the second half when it comes to the offensive end. But however, Strongsville did not. They're going to have some growing pains thus far, and you could probably say the same thing for Brunswick and Euclid as well this year. They're going to have some growing pains because they're very young in key positions, namely the quarterback. Those, you have to start young. And when you have, obviously those kids are talented. They wouldn't be starting on the varsity level as sophomores if they weren't. But they do have some growing to do. Some experience needs to be gained. But I think for this game, for Strongsville, it's definitely a learning experience as they come back. They do have another tough game coming up. Strongsville will travel to Midview in week 2. Shaker Heights will travel to Solon. This is an old GCC matchup, but next year it'll be a GCC matchup once again. Menor will play St. Ignatius. This game is actually at First Energy Stadium, so of course that's going to be very exciting for those kids playing in that game. One of the big games in our region is going to be Medina traveling to Avon. Euclid will play at Hudson, and Olmsted Falls will travel to Brunswick in a rematch of last year's game. So, guys, again, that wraps it up for week 1 in the GCC. Again, offenses were a little slow to get started. Medina started out the gate really well. Solon played a tough competition. This could be since Solon's in Division 2 now, this could be a playoff matchup that we see later down the road. So we'll have to keep our eye on that. But like I said, as for Strongsville, Euclid, and Brunswick, they're going to go through some growing pains, but hopefully midway through the season here, they'll be able to gain some momentum and rattle off some wins.
I think to your point with Strongsville quarterback Nolan Beard, it was some rough sledding there, going against a defense that is very, very good, and there's certainly baptism by fire for Beard there. I think the week probably went as what we thought it would. Menor is certainly on a revenge tour of sorts from their season from last year. Medina has a lot of residual goodwill and residual players, depth built up from the last few years. Solon's tough. They're always tough. And Euclid, Brunswick, and Strong's will definitely get some growing pains that they'll be going through for the rest of the year. But certainly, it's a tough conference, and once they get to conference play, these teams are going to beat each other up. But being that this is the big school division, and they play some very, very tough opponents there as well. So let's move over to Rob in the Southwestern Conference. 8 games on the slate. 8 games scheduled on the slate there, but similar results.
Yeah, first starting with Amherst Steel and Valley Forge. This was a Thursday night game, and Valley Forge, just when you thought they lost Marks and Starks last year, the two-headed running back duo, they had a pretty good duo themselves last night, or Thursday night rather, as they had Bishop Frierson and Ben Farson and Shane Warden as well. They had a lot of good runs, long runs that really hurt Amherst Steel early on. Give credit, though, Amherst Steel didn't give up. They got down by a lot of points early on in this game. Sophomore quarterback for Amherst, Cole Norris, he did throw a touchdown pass to Landon Fellenstein. They converted a 2-point conversion to Mason Fisher. So, there were some positives there for Amherst. They have a very young team, and they're looking to, just compete. And Valley Forge was too much, winning 44-15. Now, a surpriser: North Ridgeville versus North Olmsted. North Ridgeville, a team that loves to run the football. They had 266 yards of rushing in this one, whereas it was 124 for North Olmsted. North Olmsted more of a passing team, and they had 196 yards. Xavier Balson, he had 196 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, did have an interception. And Jared Kelly, 6 catches, 120 yards, one in which he completely jumped over a North Ridgeville defender. You have to see the photo. I mean, he was about 10 feet in the air. He really got up in the air and scored a touchdown. And they actually jumped out. They were up 7-0 and were up 21-13 at half. But North Ridgeville, a team that just doesn't give up. They have a very young team as well. Zach Barnhart, a running back for North Ridgeville, 27 carries, 101 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he's only a freshman for North Ridgeville. What is he, 14 or 15 years old? And he's going out there on Friday nights and making a difference. And Coach Morgan even said, what a difference they're trying to make here. Even with a young team, he's trying to get them to believe. They get a 34-21 win over North Olmsted. Avon, they traveled to Florida to play Stratford. The game was canceled, and I believe it was a forfeit, so Avon actually is going to get the win there. And not sure exactly what happened there, but nonetheless, Avon, I believe, gets the 1-0, goes to 1-0, and not sure what happened. Avon Lake, Josh, you went over it 38-0, and Avon Lake always known for their defense. And Matthew Stewie, the wide receiver, we talked about him coming back. He had 6 catches for 71 yards. Jeremy Disick, 193 yards passing and rushing. They had Benedict for Avon Lake. He had a 53-yard touchdown, and they just dominated from start to finish. Avon Lake, 193 yards passing, 113 on the ground. And how about the defense for Avon Lake? Give them credit where credit is due. A shutout, and they only allowed 9 first downs in the game and a 38-0 win there. So a big win for them. Another big game, Chardon taking on Olmsted Falls, and Olmsted Falls traveled to Chardon. And what a game this was. A low-scoring game in which 13 first downs on each side of the ball. Chardon had 223 yards rushing to 125 for Olmsted Falls. Rocco Conti, he had a tough job sledding, 14 rushes, 67 yards. But overall, Olmsted Falls hung around. It was for Chardon. They had a guy, last name Bruce, 6 rushes, 158 yards, and one I know was I think a 70-plus yard run. And they got down early, 14-0. They did score in this game, and they fall 14-7 against a very good Chardon team. And I know they have a win streak going, so they pushed them to the brink there and lose 14-7. Now let's move to a rivalry game, Elyria and Elyria Catholic. This is another low-scoring game here in which you look at what happened here, and it was Glover for Elyria, the running back, 17 rushes, 71 yards. Levi Ellis, what a great job by him. And Ed, I know you'll get to it. He had 154 yards. He was a big difference in this game. Elyria's defense just couldn't stop them. They're receiving. They had Grasso with 78 yards for Elyria. They mustered 6 points in the first quarter. Elyria Catholic did answer with a nice job in getting the 7. It was 7-6 at one point. Then they got another score, did Elyria Catholic, late in the game in the fourth quarter. They win 14-6 over Elyria. All right, another game. Midview and Rocky River. And Midview, what a job they did against a very good Rocky River team. Mark Reed, he's up for player of the game, or actually player of the week, the G&G Fitness player of the week. He had 78 yards rushing on 22 attempts, 10 of 15, 141 yards, had 2 touchdowns in the game. He really led that Midview offense, and they like to run the football. They continue that, but he also spread out the ball to a lot of different receivers. But the Middies, they had a 5-man rushing attack with James Ansel, Hunter Anderson, Chris Miscuda, got multiple carries, and then you had Reed running the ball as well. But Reed also passed to 4 different receivers, and they had catches of at least 13 yards in the game. So he had a very good and impressive offensive performance in week 1. Midview, a big-time win, 21-0 there. And then our featured game of the week that we had a chance to go to, Berea-Midpark. What a great scene it was there. But, man, Highland, what a tough defensive performance by them. Andrew Lurch for Highland, impressive offensively. And they had a short field to deal with a lot in this game. But give credit to the Highland defense, turning the ball over. You saw it with Berea-Midpark's offense. Josh, you talked about the offense slow to get going on a lot of these teams. And Berea-Midpark did the same early on. They really struggled to move the football. But it was Highland's defense forcing the turnovers, and then the offense of Highland capitalizing on a short field. Lucas Stiles ripped off a 63-yard touchdown run. He had 119 yards and a touchdown. Noah Robinson, another good running performance by him. He had 8 rushes, 66 yards. Andrew Lurtz, like I said, his leadership offensively really led that Highland team. They had, like I mentioned, a short field to deal with, and they capitalized on a lot of turnovers. But a nice job. Troy Schick, he had 202 yards passing, a touchdown, but he did have 2 interceptions. And then Devin Zahersky, they have some good, tall, wide receivers. He had 67 yards receiving. Austin Clay, another guy, 4 for 66, were very good. One impressive thing by Highlands defense is the rushing attack for Berea-Midpark was almost non-existent unless it was a short down situation. So, again, Highlands defense, very impressive as they get a 39-20 win there. So, again, good Southwestern Conference had some good, I would say, games in the conference, but also some down ones, and it's week 1, so you still have, a lot of games to correct some things. As you said, we're starting a little earlier here, so I think these teams need to really iron out some things, and even had a talk with Coach Gibbons after the game, and he mentioned that they made some mistakes and have to, if they want to be a good football team, they have to correct those moving forward, and he thinks they'll do that. But it's game one, so you have a lot of time to correct things.
And the Southwestern Conference had a very good showing against the Great Lakes Conference, specifically, Midview taking out the defending GLC champions, not only taking them out, but shutting them out. A big victory there. We'll go over. I don't really have much to add to that game. And then we'll quickly go through some of the schemes that that some of those crossovers as well. But North Ridgeville, what a big win over North Homestead. A come from behind victory at that. Coach Morgan, as you said, mentioned it. They don't look at their freshman running back as a freshman. He earned the right to tote the rock as a 14-year-old against 15, 16, 17, some 18-year-olds, and he certainly proved that he belonged. And sounds like he's going to be a force to be reckoned with for the next 4 years for the Rangers, and they got to be happy about that.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move to with Sean being on assignment. We're going to do a little bit. I'm going to step back in my Suburban League world. Although I never did the American division, I will certainly do that right now. I'm going to have the pizzazz and flair of Sean, but we'll see what we can do. All right, we talked about Aurora with a 38-6 victory over Euclid. For Aurora, quarterback Matt Geyer completed 6 of 8 passing for 108 yards and a touchdown. He also rushed for 82 yards and a touchdown before bowing out with a little bit of an injury. But Aurora gets the win over a very young Euclid team there. Wadsworth takes out Barberton in cross-division action, 24-7. Good win for the Grizzlies there. Twinsburg defeats Copley in an absolute shootout, 45-43. For Twinsburg, it was Quincy Newsome. He rushed 204 yards and 3 touchdowns. Kicker Tyler Siegert hit a 30-yard field goal with 19 seconds left for the go-ahead score to give Twinsburg the win. Copley's Daywan Owens, he was a stud. He threw for 290 yards and 4 touchdowns and rushed for another 107 yards in a losing effort for the Copley Indians. What a tremendous game, and a good win for Twinsburg's Coach Salter getting his first win there. Stowe gets a 58-7 victory over Cuyahoga Falls. That was formerly a national division contest that is now a cross-division contest. We just talked about Highland getting a 39-20 victory over Berea-Midpark. That's a very, very good matchup, and Highland stands to get a lot of computer points from that victory over the Titans. Kent Roosevelt gets a 35-6 victory over Firestone. Donovan Detweiler ran for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also caught a touchdown pass. He had a pick 6 on defense. He had 2 interceptions and 9 tackles. He deserves some chocolate milk. He was very, very busy in this contest for the Rough Riders. Woodridge with a 41-14 victory over the Revere Minutemen. Talmadge 42-7 over Brecksville in a cross-division contest. G&G Fitness Player of the Week nominee Ty Hurst, quarterback from Talmadge, he completed 19 of 28 passing for 261 yards and 4 touchdowns. What a stud he was that day, too, for the Blue Devils over the Bees of Brecksville. I hope Sean is enjoying that. National Division, some non-conference matchups there. We talked about Hudson getting a 14-13 victory over a very tough Stolen Comets team. Ian Ludwig rushed for 125 yards and a touchdown. And for Hudson, Noah Batcher stuffed Stolen's E.J. Taylor at the goal line on a 2-point conversion to hold a 14-13 lead that eventually led to the final result. The Explorers moved to 1-0. Nordonia with a 34-14 victory over Bedford. North Royalton, a 21-7 winner over Westlake. And again, Wadsworth gets a 24-7 victory over Barberton. As far as next week is concerned for the American Division, Painesville Riverside will visit Aurora. Firestone will take on Copley. Normandy travels to Cuyahoga Falls. Kent Roosevelt will take the 1-0 record on the road to CVCA. Revere looks to get their first victory at Eastlake North. Akron Ellet will travel to Talmadge to take on the 1-0 Blue Devils. In National Division play, Brecksville will travel to Avon Lake. Nordonia will travel to Berea-Midpark. Willoughby South will travel to Twinsburg. Wadsworth goes to Worcester. In crossover division action, North Royalton and Highland will go at it in a battle of 1-0 teams. Barberton will travel to Stowe, and Euclid doesn't get much easier for them. They go from Aurora to Hudson as far as for their next round, for their next game. So that is what Sean likes to say is fit to print for the Suburban League this week. Tough contest there. Twinsburg coming out hot with 43 points, given they gave it up 43, but those two offenses certainly showed no signs of any rust there. Stowe did what we thought Stowe would do against a team like Cuyahoga Falls. Kent Roosevelt, a big victory for them. They're a team that traditionally has not fared very well, but getting a good win over a good Firestone squad there. Highland looks to just continue doing what they're doing. They were the number 1 seed in their region last year for a reason, and they continue to punch up in class as far as divisions are concerned, taking out a Division I foe in Berea-Midpark. They will get another shot at a Division I foe in week 3 against the Brunswick Blue Devils. Aurora just continues to do what they do against taking advantage of a young Euclid team. Hudson, Nordonia, North Royalton, tough teams there. Talmadge with a really, really good victory as well over Brecksville. It's going to take Brecksville a little bit to get going, I think, this year. Coach Martin Potter going to Stowe. He picks up right where the previous coach left off. So tough matchups here for the Suburban League, and we'll look forward to seeing what they do in week 2. All right. Last and certainly not least, the Great Lakes Conference. I'm skipping through there. We have the East and the West. As Rob mentioned earlier, it was Valley Forge with a 44-15 victory over Amherst Steel. This game was played on Thursday night. Valley Forge ran for 397 yards. 4 Patriots rushed for 80 or more yards, and each one of those players had at least one 50-yard run. Shane Warden had 14 rushes for 119 yards. Elijah Williams, Connor Posniak, and Ben Farson also rushed for at least 80 yards in the game. 6 different players scored for Valley Forge over the course of the contest, and Valley Forge runs their record to 1-0. A very exciting game in York Township. Buckeye Bucks take on, they played Cloverleaf. It was a 29-28 victory. Buckeye took the lead with 7 seconds left and a 2-yard touchdown pass to Zach Onorati from Casey Murray. And then Murray found Gage Nagy on the resulting 2-point conversion to take the lead and win the game over the Cloverleaf Colts. Troy McCann for Buckeye rushed 19 times for 149 yards and a touchdown. Casey Murray was 11-19 passing for 132 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the game-winning 2-point conversion. And then Coach Greg Dennison, congratulations to him. He won his 200th game in his career. He had 11 at Norton, 148 at Wadsworth, and this was his 41st victory at Buckeye. One of the true coaching legends of Medina County. So congratulations to Coach Greg Dennison on that accomplishment. We mentioned it earlier. Boy, I got my recaps all messed up. Sorry. Holy Name with a 21-16 victory over Padua. G&G Fitness Equipment Player of the Week nominee, quarterback Jayvon Williams. He only threw the ball 13 times, but he got 211 yards out of that with 2 touchdowns. That included an 80-yard touchdown pass to Kevin Pivanka. Austin Wondolowski and Christian Sanchez also scored for Holy Name. And with this victory, Holy Name has defeated their rival Padua 3 times in the past 2 seasons, including the Division III playoffs last year. Holy Name looking to get back to at least the regional championship for a 3rd straight year with Jayvon Williams at the helm as quarterback. Lakewood gets a 34-13 victory over John Marshall. That game was played on Saturday. Normandy with a 17-6 victory over Warrensville Heights. Congratulations to the Invaders on that victory there. Clearview gets a 20-0 victory over the Parma Redmond. Parma starts the season out at 0-1. And then we mentioned Valley Forge and Amherst Steel. On the west side, Bay Village with a very, very exciting victory, probably a little bit more exciting than they thought it would be, over over West Geauga. Bay Village jumped out to a 21-0 lead before West G just came back with a vengeance. They tied the game at 21 all to force it to overtime. Jack McAlay stopped West G from the 2-yard line on 3rd and 4th down in overtime, stopping their offensive possession. And then Brendan Spellman for Bay Village, he rushed 29 times for 143 yards and the game-winning touchdown in overtime. Bay with an exciting 27-21 victory over West Geauga to move their record to 1-0. As Rob mentioned earlier, it was Elyria Catholic getting a 14-6 victory over Elyria. Both teams highly regarded coming into this year. Elyria looking at as one of the favorites in Division One. Elyria Catholic is moving up to Division 4, but they certainly proved their mettle. As you mentioned, Rob, Levi Ellis had 31 carries for 156 yards and a game-clinching score. Tony Grasso caught 9 passes for 79 yards and a touchdown. And Elyria Catholic, they had to stop Elyria from scoring. Coach Fox talked about in his postgame that they were in a position where they could have ran the clock out, but Ellis scored, and they had to play a little bit of defense there, but they were able to get the job done. And Elyria Catholic moves to 1-0 on the season. Lutheran West takes out Fairview 34-0, a tough one for the Warriors there. As we mentioned, Rocky River loses to Midview 21-0. Huge win for the Middies for Midview. And the Pirates go back to the drawing board at 0-1. North Royalton defeats Westlake 21-7. And then a good victory here for North Ridgeville, not so much for North Olmsted. North Olmsted, they jumped out to a 21-13 halftime deficit. Xavier Balson threw for 2 touchdowns. He hit Jared Kelly, and he also hit Dominic Costello at the end of the first half. However, North Ridgeville just ran down North Olmsted. They held the ball for 20 out of 24 minutes in the second half, and just completely shut down and shut out North Olmsted, and to get a 34-21 victory. That does it for the Great Lakes Conference. I'll quickly go through the Week 2 schedule. Again, the Player of the Week, the G&G Fitness Player of the Week nominee for the Great Lakes Conference was senior quarterback Jayvon Williams of Holy Name. He will be joining us here in about 10 minutes to talk about his game and talk about the program a little bit there. And we're also going to be joined by senior quarterback from Medina. Is he a senior, Josh?
I'm going to guess he's still. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted because there's a lot of excess noise in my household tonight.
Yes.
He is a junior.
Junior quarterback Danny Stoddard is going to be joining us from Medina as well.
Wow.
And we'll look forward to picking his brain about learning from someone like Drew Allar and what the Bees are going to be doing this year as well. So
and Ed, quickly, I'm sorry, Ed, quickly before you mention, he was actually my nominee for the G&G Fitness Player of the Week on our poll, which the results are in, so we could go over that a little bit later. And it was down to the wire, very last moment, so that'll be interesting to talk about here in a little bit.
Very exciting. The Week 2 schedule for the Great Lakes Conference is going to be – where am I thinking? Oh, there we go. Amherst is 0-1. They're going to travel to 1-0 Buckeye. Bay, this is a cross-division play here. Bay is 1-0. They're going to travel to Lakewood, also 1-0. Normandy is 1-0. They're going to go to Cuyahoga Falls at 0-1. Fairview and Parma, battle of 0-1 teams going to go at it. Holy Name goes to a very, very tough team in Clyde. Both teams are 1-0 there. North Ridgeville is 1-0. They're going to go to Valley Forge. Elyria Catholic travels to Sandusky Perkins. That's a very tough game. Perkins is the traditional power out of the Sandusky Bay Conference. That'll be a very, very good battle for the Panthers. Rocky River travels to Firelands at 0-1. North Olmsted's going to go to Green. Green had a very, very good run last year, and they're going to give North Olmsted all they can handle. Then Westlake is 0-1. They're going to travel to Rhodes, also at 0-1. So that is Week 1. All of our recaps at a glance there, and just a very, very exciting bit of football. You guys both went to the games this week. before Jayvon Williams joins us here, talk a little bit about the atmosphere and just how it was getting back out there for week one. Like, was there any difference in the crowds, or with it being a little bit earlier than usual?
No, other than the fact that we had to deal with the heat. There was actually a lot of heat, but it was great to be back out there. The atmosphere was electric as usual, so it was good. You just want to see the teams in the offense start to pick up, and once the weather gets a little cooler, we get into September. I think you'll see probably that offense start catching up to the D, and it'll be all good.
Yeah, there was a few times I thought there was some cramping on Berea-Midpark side of the ball, but for the most part, it was a beautiful night. At least, I know some of the players I think were overheating a little bit, but you just have to kind of get through it. But the crowd was electric. I mean, there was a good crowd at Berea-Midpark. I thought it was jam packed for the most part there. And let's see, I'll try to put some highlights up from that game right now. And it was a great day. Both sides were pretty packed. Both fan section. I thought Highlands was a little bit louder than Berea-Midpark. But Berea-Midpark fans also were a little bit quiet, but they had reason to be, because Highlands defense was just stopping and turning the ball over. But it was jam packed. You had both bands going, and just it was great to be back on the sidelines, especially seeing Fox 8. Friday Night Touchdown was there trying to get highlights. You have Channel 19 and all the different channels there trying to get highlights from these guys, and you could tell it was a very highly anticipated game. But Highland just fundamentally is just sound, and they've always been that way under Coach Gibbons. Give them credit. They really stopped a very good offensive Berea-Midpark team.
Yeah, and I do have to mention, too, both our highlight videos from Rob, your game, Berea-Midpark and Highland, and my game, Avon Lake Strongsville, are on our YouTube page. So you can just go there and pretty much watch all the key plays of the games, plus much, much more. All on our YouTube page. And when you go there, please make sure you subscribe. So just Sports on Tap on YouTube, and you'll see us there. And if you're watching this right now, you're already there. So you can see the videos that we took. And once again, this week, we'll be at some featured games, or we'll be doing the same thing with some videos later on that night.
And the videos are a little bit different. I mean, you're watching the Avon Lake Strongsville game. I mean, we're on the sidelines, and we're kind of right up there getting these highlights. So they're really, you're on the field. You're not crazy up high, in the press box. Going to see they're going to look like little ants. We're actually on the field, and there were a few times I almost got hit. Some of the players coming right into me. I think they tried to get in the video. They were excited to get on Sports on Tap's Monday night show here, but it was a lot of fun, and there's nothing like Friday night high school football. That's for sure.
Absolutely, and it's it's a lot of why we do what we do. We love high school football. We all played high school football for Brunswick, Sean down in the Dayton area, and we're all about promoting programs and promoting teams and promoting student athletes. That's exactly why we're here. So again, everyone out there, make sure if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Tell your friends, join us. Hit the subscription button, and follow us on our Twitter at SOT Podcast, and follow us on our Facebook and our website, sportsontap.podcast.com. Send us any stats, pronunciations, or anything else you want to know about your team at sportsontap.podcast@gmail.com. And we are joined by senior quarterback for the Holy Name Green Wave. I like this dude's number because I wore the number in high school, number 8. We have Jayvon Williams from Holy Name. Jayvon, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good, thank you. I'm good.
And Jayvon, you had a tremendous game here against your rival Padua. You had 11 of 13 passes for over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Had a long 80-yard pass as part of that. Talk about talk about your game against Padua. And how how the off season was for you, because we talked to some coaches about how it was for them. But you guys are starting a week earlier than you usually would. Now, how did so talk about the paddle game and talk about how your preparation was coming into the season.
The preparation for the game, we just took it we didn't really take it as a rivalry this year. Like never, every year we played them, we never took it as a rivalry. We just took it as another game and just stand in the weight room all year and coming together, practice every day, and just coming together and just playing as one. That's how we got the dub. And what was the other question you said?
Well, the season starting a little earlier than we're probably used to. I mean, a lot of school, most up until more recently, the football season started either the last week of August or maybe the second to last week. Did you feel any different as a player preparing? Not getting as much reps against live scrimmage action before the first game?
Kind of, but I knew coming into this game, I knew they was gonna key on me and Christian because of last year. A lot of running and stuff. I just been working hard this summer and just trying to get my arm together, and it all came together and showed. So yeah, just preparing even better.
Yeah, that definitely did show because on your 80-yard touchdown pass, you were throwing that on the run to your right, and you made a really strong throw. So just talk, you're going into your senior year, Jayvon. Talk about if you made a step in terms of your leadership, because not only you're quarterback, so you're a natural leader of the team, but now you're a senior quarterback. So talk about the difference, if any, about being a leader this year.
Being a leader this year is more different just because it's my last year. So I just want to be a big leader for the younger guys and just show them how we all come together as one, like even the freshmen and sophomores and stuff like that, new guys coming in, just showing them what Holy Name is all about.
Hey, Jayvon, thanks for coming on our show tonight. Really appreciate your time. I know you had practice, probably not too long ago, but talk a little bit about, your playoff experience last year and how it really helped you this season. And then I'll have another question, with some of the younger guys, who are some of the younger guys that you're trying to teach the game on Friday nights, to be under, I'm sure there's a little bit of pressure there for them and they get a little bit nervous, but with your leadership and with you teaching them, I'm sure, they're at ease knowing and understanding kind of what you're going through. But talk a little bit about your playoff experience and how that has helped you progress and develop this season.
Just that helped me realize we're not gonna see the same kind of defense every year. People come at us with different defenses, different fronts, and just as the years going by, I just got better with reading the defenses and just knowing how to get it done.
Absolutely, and it's showing. I mean, your leadership on the team, everybody's kind of looking to you to make a play. It seems like, and that was last year. I mean, you had a lot of different weapons, but your weapons, being able to throw and run is dynamic. Now, what other players on the team are looking to you for either advice, or do you have a little brother, say, on the team that is trying to follow in your footsteps? And now that you're a senior, they're looking like, wow, Friday Night Lights, this is kind of special. I'd like to be like Jayvon next year and be able to run and throw and do all the things he's doing.
Yeah, we got a lot of younger guys like Sean. We got Colin Dawes, first year playing varsity. Who else? Joey Ragon. So just them, I just want to show them, just don't leave no regrets on the field and just just play a 1-11 and y'all all come together and just get it done. That's how it is.
We're talking with Holy Name senior quarterback Jayvon Williams. Jayvon, you've been a starter for 3 years now, and you've had a lot of success in the playoffs. Can you talk a little bit about how you feel as a quarterback now as a senior, as opposed to when you were a sophomore and you had juniors and seniors? You're leading juniors and seniors now, and now where you're at as a senior at this point.
Sophomore year, I felt not behind the scenes, but I was trying to get the hang of everything and just doing my 1-11 for them. I just wanted to be successful for them. And just because I know a couple guys that was their last year playing, and I know I got a couple years left under my belt, so I just wanted to share everything with them and just be successful.
And you have so Christian Sanchez has been with you the whole way too. You guys have co-led the when you think about the Holy Name offense. We talk about you, Christian Sanchez, Austin Wondolowski. Who are some of the other players that are making an impact on the offensive end that are helping you out?
We got Andrew Cole, we got Colin Dawes, Kevin Pavanka, Sean Edgerson, and just the line up front and just all getting it done. Just because like last year, we lost a lot of guys up front, and a lot of the younger guys are stepping up and getting it done for us.
And you guys have a tough. The thing is, you guys are in a pretty tough conference with you being in a How much is your does the Great Lakes Conference play help you when you do get to the playoffs? You're playing a lot of Division II teams that are very, very good, and then when you get to the playoffs, you're battling with everybody who's Division III. How's the schedule in the regular season helped you out in the playoffs?
Just coming in as the underdogs, really like everybody got they say so, but like we just keep our poise and just be us. Just don't let anything like get to us.
Jayvon, what's your favorite part about being a football player holding name? What drives you to be the best player you can be every day? I mean, obviously being a quarterback, you're the focus. You're the leader. We talked about that, but just what gives you the drive to be that player that you want to be?
Us as seniors now, like we all got our own goals, and like my goal, me personally, I just want to leave a mark at Holy Name and just let everyone know like what Holy Name is really about in football, and just not leaving us out about anything and bringing that challenge to the team.
Do you think you're on your way to doing that? I mean, you've established now this is your third-year starter. You've had success in the playoffs. You think you're establishing a good foundation for which the program can be built upon?
Yeah, right now we just trying to take one game at a time and just get it there.
Hey, Jay,
next week.
Oh, go
ahead, Rob.
No, I was just going to ask him in the off season. Did you and your teammates have any fun experiences this off season? I know there's a lot of camps going on, or to prep for the season. There's a lot of lifting and kind of being together as a team. Did you guys bond as a team? And what was probably your best time this off season with your teammates? It's a tough one.
I would say. Yeah, it's a tough one, but I would say once like double started and we all had this mindset of going in, like everyone's not new, but like we got the younger guys stepping up and they're all nervous, but we just all like came together during doubles and two-a-days. So I feel like that was the most fun times ever. So
very cool.
Hey, Jayvon, you guys have a very you guys are going to travel to Clyde this week. A very, very tough team up in northwestern Ohio. Without giving too much away, what are you guys looking at so far with Clyde, and what do you think you guys need to do to be successful?
We know Clyde is a very good team, and we're not going to put anything over our heads or over their heads. We just trying to get the practice done this week and just go out there, and it's a business trip to us. It's a business trip.
Is that something that Coach Wondolowski is kind of preached to you guys over definitely for this year, but also over since you've been a starter?
Yes. Every time we travel, it's a business trip. We go out there, get it done, and come back home. That's it.
Talk a little bit about the relationship you have with the coaching staff as well. I mean, being like, being that you're a 3-year starter now, quarterback, do you have a little bit more say in the game plan? Just based off of your experiences, do you and Coach Wondolowski kind of bounce ideas off each other?
Yeah, of course. Like, if like he's my eyes off the field, like when something I don't see and he sees, we talk to each other, we communicate, and I just let them know about things I see and things that can be done with the team and having trust in the team, and we just get it done.
Jayvon, I was curious because we talked to a lot of coaches, before the season started. This is kind of the first year in 2 years that we've actually had somewhat of a normal off season getting together and all that stuff. Because before with COVID and everything, you had trouble meeting and all that, and there was schedules up in the air. So, getting back to somewhat normalcy, have you taken anything from those COVID times, you personally, that maybe worked out, that if you kind of transitioned and you decided, hey, this worked for me during that time, I'm going to keep going with it, whether it be technology or just, working out by yourself or anything like that?
Yeah, during the off season and during COVID days, it was a lot of like one-on-one, like with my granddad, like he was helping me work out and I would do the personal workouts and stuff like that. And like just like taking that and bringing it into this season has brought a lot, because like I know the mentality of like not losing everything, but like, different change, different adversity, I should say.
That's true. I mean, there's in the COVID year 2020, there are some teams that weren't able to even play their playoff game because they got hit by the pandemic, unfortunately. And you guys persevered. I mean, two straight trips to the Elite Eight, the regional championship. Has Coach Wondolowski kind of put that in the back burner and doesn't really talk about that so much, or is that something that's kind of out there for you this year?
Us as a team, we leave the past in the past. So like we just want to really focus on now and just get and execute everything and just come together as one and reach the goal we all want.
Hey, what's your favorite subject in school?
I would say math.
Nice. I love me some math.
Good math. Good man there.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's Ed's popular answer right there, right. Man. He loves his math. He's the one that breaks down stats and all that on the air here. He knows all the points going on. Once we get to points, figuring out who's making the playoffs, he crunches the numbers. Best in the business right there.
Only one in the business. I'll take it. Hey, Jayvon, do you play any other sports, or either just for the team or recreationally?
I played basketball freshman year, but once COVID hit, I didn't really focus on that. I just started focusing more on football. So no, not right now.
Okay. Is basketball your favorite sport outside of football?
Yeah, I would say basketball. Yes.
Very good. Are there any university, any colleges that you're looking at, or anyone that's looking at you?
Yeah, I got a couple interests from like Ashland, Ball State. I know Notre Dame was reaching out to me, Notre Dame College, and I want to be humble about it. Like I don't really talk about it, but like I just want to let everything just come to me.
Yeah, let it happen and don't force anything and focus on the season. But it'll all happen for you and it'll work out in one way or another. And we appreciate you obviously always coming on our show. This is the second time I think you've come on our show. You came on last year as well.
Yep.
So how's the experience being on our show? Are you enjoying?
Yeah, I love the experience. It's fun.
I see.
It just gets me prepared for the next level.
Absolutely, and I think you do a great job with the questions, and it looks like in back you're in the kitchen. So did you eat dinner yet, or after practice?
I ate some lasagna. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I remember those days a long time ago. We had spaghetti dinners. I think it was on Thursdays, though.
Yeah, it was.
Man, I always look forward to those big meatballs and spaghetti dinners. That I think the moms made for us. Josh is laughing, but hey, man, it was good eating.
Yeah.
Hey, Jayvon, thank you very much for coming on. I've been lucky enough to cover Holy Name and cover you and Christian and Austin for the last couple of years. You guys have been a joy to read about and to watch. I'm I'm happy for your guys' success. And I just want to wish you the best of luck for the rest of the year, and certainly hopefully get you back on either, if not once, maybe if not during the season, but definitely after the season, after hopefully a very successful year. Good luck this week against Clyde coming up on Friday night.
Good, thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Jayvon. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That is a senior quarterback for the Holy Name Green Wave, Jayvon Williams. He was the Great Lakes Conference nominee for the G&G Fitness Equipment Player of the Week. The other players of the week were Mark Reed from Midview, Ty Hurst from Talmadge, and Danny Stoddard from Medina. As Josh mentioned, we will reveal the results of the poll coming up here in a little bit. It was a very, very close to the end there, from what I understand. So we'll certainly get that off. So junior quarterback from Medina, Danny Stoddard, will be joining us here next. Just want to go through our sponsors again. G&G Fitness Equipment, livefit.com. That they are our Player of the Week sponsor there. Also check out RRT Productions, www.rrt-productions.com. GV Art and Design, the original one of a kind, gvartwork.com. Use the promo code ONTAP10, get 10% off of your total purchase. Ray Felton State Farm in Hudson, that is rayfelton.com. Phone number is 234-284-2996. Ray is always recruiting new team members, whether it be sales or service. There is always an opportunity for the right candidate. Call his office today at 234-284-2996 to learn more about the opportunities available. And also Bandwagon Fantasy Sports. Make sure that's a new sponsor to us this year. We're very, very excited to have them there at bandwagonfantasysports.com. How does it work? Every college football team in the system has assigned a preseason dollar value. You have 106 teams to choose from the Power 5, Independent, MAC, AAC, NWC conferences. You have $36 to draft 8 teams. Every team your game wins gives you points in the standings. And then road wins are also built into the tiebreaker. You can add and drop teams up to 25 times at any point during the season. After week 6, team values update every 2 weeks based on actual performance. So that you get some real live data going in a little bit before the midway point through the season to get the most accurate and most up-to-date dollar values. So it's up to you to figure out whose bandwagon that you want to jump on or jump off throughout the course of the season. Remember, jumping on a team before they get hot gives you a huge advantage. Talk lots of trash and figure out who truly is the king or queen of college football in 2022. That is Bandwagon Fantasy Sports.
Yeah, that
nice
should
job
be
there, Ed.
Yeah, nice work.
And again, thanks to our sponsors. This is we're very happy that they're joining us. And I've done that Bandwagon Fantasy Sports. It's really fun. It really gets you into college football because you start to look at teams that you don't normally look at, like your teams from the MAC or teams from the Mountain West. So you're looking at those teams because those are the ones that you're going to get a lot of value from. And again, it's all free. And if you join our league, SOT, you will get we'll have some good prizes that you could possibly win at the end of the year for sure.
You're right. It is. It's a pretty fun time. But you're like I said, you want to go to the app store and download the app first, and it's pretty easy. It explains everything for you. But me and Josh, I know, have done it. I'm not sure if you have. I know Sean has. We kind of tested out from the beginning, and it is fun. It's very challenging, but it's fun to follow the teams. It's a lot easier, I think, in fantasy football where you have a bunch of players. You're actually dealing with teams here. So, you're looking at the, Bowling Green Falcons as a team, Ohio State Buckeyes, and you want to try to get the most wins you can. So, it's a lot of fun. We enjoy it. And, they'll get to go against us, beat us here. I mean, it probably won't be too tough, but you never know. I'm looking to win something here. I'm looking to win fantasy football. I'm looking to win Bandwagon Fantasy Sports. I mean, let's go, man.
Anyway. Getting back to so we talked. Looks like we're going to have our next guest join us here. We have junior quarterback Danny Stoddard, and there he is.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing today, Danny?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. What a great win you guys had over Warren Harding. You individually had a tremendous game as well. Talk a little bit about the game and talk a little bit about the game against Warren Harding. Getting some live action there as QB1. For the first time. How did it go how did it feel to you, knowing that you're the guy?
Oh, it was a little bit of a different experience knowing it was like a Friday night, varsity, and then I'm starting replacing Drew. Everyone's looking for the next guy to replace him. But yeah, we started out the game fresh, and then towards like the middle of the game, it got a little bit rocky, but then we finished strong. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, obviously, Danny, thanks for joining us. You know, trying to follow it up a season like Drew Aller had, that's tough for anyone to do. But you were with him last year. But did you feel any pressure, any nerves getting into to this first start against Warren G. Harding? Or, was it a little nerve wracking for you? Glad it's over with. On to the next game, moving on up.
Oh yeah, it got rid of a lot of nerves. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I learned a lot from Drew last year. So and I trusted our team, our receivers, our O-line, our defense did great. Um, so yeah, it got got rid of a lot of nerves. So
Yeah, talk about that a little bit more, your receivers, because obviously last year you guys were running and gunning 5 wide, 4 or 5 wide all season long, the spread offense, and at times was virtually unstoppable. You got a lot of those guys back, including Brandon Schramm. Just talk about the leadership of those guys and that trust that you've had developed over the summer and now going into that live game action.
oh yeah, we developed a lot of chemistry, and so Brennan Schramm, he's a pretty good leader. He helps out all the receivers. I try my best. Yeah, so I trusted them. We did pretty good.
I was just, I was gonna say, for being nervous, I think you had what, 3 touchdown passes, and lit up the scoreboard pretty well in your first game. And I know it probably can be nervous, and that's one thing you just can't compare. You compare to Drew. I mean, you're a different quarterback, and you have a different team this year, and getting that first win and just a great performance. I mean, Josh had you as our G&G Fitness Player of the Week. You were part of the poll, and it looks like you have a pretty good amount of fans out there. So impressive first start, 3 touchdowns. Talk a little bit about, obviously, your performance, which you kind of mentioned. You had the receiver support. And what about the offensive line? Did they make you feel comfortable, or did the coaches at least try to make you calm you down and say, hey, just be you? You're not Drew. Just calm down and go out there and do your thing?
Oh yeah, they helped me a lot. I just played my game, just did what I knew I could do, and then our O-line was amazing. I had enough time on almost like every play. They did great, and then our defense showed out too. So that was very helpful.
What was the key that it was a tie game for a while, and then you guys just took off in the second half? What do you think was the big difference there that allowed you guys to surpass Harding there?
Oh, after the first half at halftime, I cleared my mind, got my mental state right, and then made adjustments and did what I had to, and then we came out with energy.
We're talking with sorry, go ahead.
We're talking with Danny Stoddard, quarterback for the Medina Bees. Danny, just talk about for you yourself, what preparation is like to be, starting quarterback, Greater Cleveland Conference, Division I, the big school division, we call it. Just talk about, your preparation, especially this year coming in, knowing that you were the starter.
It was well, I had to work with my receivers a lot, got used to that, build up chemistry. Our coaches, we made relationships, and then coaches just made it comfortable for me. And then I just went over film, practice, and then came out ready.
I imagine. So, what's the biggest difference between between Saturday mornings and Friday nights for you that you experience?
Oh, the game is a lot faster. It's a lot quicker. You have to think faster. A lot of fans are there. Band is playing. It's pretty cool. I thought it was awesome.
Yes, it is. It's fun. Play. There's nothing better than Friday nights. We all had the opportunity to play Friday nights at one of your rivals at Brunswick, and it's something that we always cherish as well. So certainly take the time to appreciate it. And luckily, you're only a junior, so you get two more years of it. That's gonna be fantastic for you. So next, let's move on a little bit here to next week. This coming week, you're taking out a very tough Avon team. You travel to Avon for that without getting into too much or without giving away what you think you may give away, because we certainly don't want to do that. Talk a little bit about Avon and what you think you need to do to be successful against the Eagles.
Well, we're watching a lot of film. I know their offense is pretty good, and their defense, well, they're just a good team. So I think we gotta practice our game plan, go over our reads, and watch a lot of film on them.
Yeah, and I know Avon is a tough place to play. It's a pretty big stadium. A lot of playoff games have been there before. What's it like playing, especially in week one and then going to Avon? I know Medina always travels well. What's it like playing on the road in front of opposing fans? I mean, do they yell at you guys, and are you expecting, a pretty loud crowd on Friday night?
Oh yeah, I'm sure I'll hear some things that I won't like, but I've learned to just ignore it, just play on, just drown out the noise.
And how about the fans in Medina? Are you having little kids and some of the younger youth coming up to you asking for autograph or pictures now that you're the starting quarterback this year?
Oh yeah, I've had a few come up, ask for a picture. I think it's cool because I'm like a role model to them. They look up to me, and then yeah, it just feels good.
I would say it's probably. I know I surprisingly had that when I was in high school. I had a few guys I played baseball. I'm like, you really want me to sign your baseball? Like, yeah, I was surprised, but it is kind of cool to see the little kids, really look up to you, and you have another year, so it'll be a lot of fun for you.
Oh yeah.
I was being a little modest. He was named like all decade in 2000s for Brunswick. So we're in rare company here.
Although what he doesn't know is I paid those kids to go do that, so he would feel good about it.
Hey, well, thanks, Josh. That really, even to this day, made me feel special.
Here for you, buddy.
Hey, Danny, do you play any sports, any other sports for Medina or other sports recreationally besides football?
Oh yeah. I play baseball for the high school. I played basketball freshman year, but I didn't stick with that. But yeah, I played center field last year for varsity, and yeah, I played baseball.
So you have some experience being a field general out there. Center fielder is obviously the general of the outfield, and now obviously quarterback is the general of the offense. What, in your opinion, which one do you like better? What is more difficult, and which one is more fun for you? And the good answer would be football, because we're in football season right now. But
yeah, I like football more. It's more fun. It's more challenging though. But it feels good once you do well. So I probably like that one more.
Do you have any superstitions before any of your game? I mean, you just started this year, but I know last year you still played. Do you have any superstitions that you have to do before every game? Do you have to eat a certain meal before your game, or anything you eat, drink? You have to wear the same long sleeve shirt under your jersey or anything like that?
Kinda, yeah. I make sure I don't eat like a big meal before the game because I don't want to feel like full. But other than that, maybe just like stretch for a little bit, talk to my teammates, go over the game plan.
You have to talk to certain teammates, or what if a teammate comes up, you're like, I can't talk to you before the game. I got to talk to these certain guys.
No, I talk to mostly anyone, but yeah, I can't think of any, but
that's all right.
That's certainly healthier than what I did. I drank a 20-ounce of Code Red Mountain Dew and ate like a beef jerky stick before every game. Things were different back in the early 2000s. You can get away with that stuff. Certainly can't do that now, probably.
Code Red. I don't think I ate anything, but I think I listened to certain music. I listened to certain music before games that I knew would kind of pump me up a little bit.
Yeah. I listen to some rock music to pump me up. But
so what? Do you have a favorite artist you listen to before the game? What kind of rock are we talking about here?
I like Quiet Riot. They like.
Oh, nice. There we go. Some hair metal.
Yeah.
Like got the hair for it.
Bang Your Head.
Yes.
Get going a little bit.
Well done. I like it. I like that. Your parents probably appreciate that too.
Yeah, they showed me they introduced me to that music.
What's your favorite subject in school?
I like learning about history. It's cool. It's interesting to me.
History's sweet. Oh, I like history too. If I always thought about this, and maybe you don't have to answer this now if you don't want to. Maybe we'll get you on again at some point, probably, because you're going to do very well this year. If I had to pick a decade to live in that isn't one I already lived in, I would pick the 50s first and then the 20s. That's what I would do.
Yeah, that.
What do you think? What do you think?
You're going to say something like the 80s or something, and they'll make us feel really old.
If I had to pick, it'd probably be 60s, 70s, or 80s. One of those.
There you go.
Nice.
Danny, let's get back to a little bit of football questions. Coming to this season, did you have any goals that you set for yourself? And I know, right now you're in season mode, so it's take it a week at a time. But you have any goals that you set before the season, and any goals you have during the season that you're trying to meet for yourself personally?
Yeah, just make sure we have a winning season. Obviously, just do my best. Hopefully, make it pretty far into the playoffs, and that's pretty much it. Just show what I could do, prove to people that we're a good team. Whoever doubted us.
Do you kind of have a little bit of that chip on your shoulder? Is that kind of motivating you this year to prove what you have, to prove that you could just keep this? This is probably the best run of Medina football that there's been in a very long time, obviously. So is that something that motivates you to keep this thing going?
Oh yeah. Hearing people doubt like that Medina is going to be good or something, it motivates me to try my hardest, try my best.
Well, you definitely got off to a good start. 325 yards, 4 touchdowns. Rob kind of shied you one there, but you did have 4 touchdowns.
I apologize on that. Man.
Okay.
I gave you the hat trick instead of the 4 there. That's not right. Got to be right there.
So, yeah, is there anything from that? I mean, you're looking at those numbers, and obviously those are really good numbers, but for you going into this next game against a very tough Avon team, is there anything that you personally want to improve on to help your team secure another win?
Hopefully we could keep that going, keep those stats going. Just not make as many mental mistakes. And just show out, just try our best effort.
Hey, Danny, we want to thank you for coming on the show. You're pretty young into your varsity career here. Take it one week at a time. Take a couple rests every once in a while. And I think things are going to pan out just fine for you. You guys got a great team. It's going to be a very competitive GCC again this year. And then, you guys have a very good shot at making playoffs this year based off of the numbers. We'll see if you can't make a little bit of noise in Division I, Region 1 again. So best of luck to you. Good luck this week against Avon and the rest of the season. You got one more thing, Josh?
Yeah, real quick, while we're here. So, Danny, like we mentioned, you were one of the nominees for our G&G Fitness Player of the Week. And your friends at Medina really, really helped you out the last few hours here. You actually pulled ahead, and you actually won this week. So congratulations. You are the G&G Fitness Player of the Week. You can see there on the screen, you got 47% of the vote. So congratulations.
Wow.
We get always a big following at Medina. Like you said, millions of times they show out and show up, and they do in this. But that just proves the point that you guys have a lot of support with this football team. And you guys are going to continue to do some great things. So congratulations.
Yeah.
Now, really, you don't really win anything. It's more of like hey, we voted for you. But we just want to say congratulations and really keep up the good work.
Thank you. That means so much.
Yeah, you got a lot of fans out there, and who knows, maybe we might be at your game this week. We'll have to wait and see what the featured games are this week, but that definitely is up for consideration this week, I'll tell you that. So maybe we'll see you in Avon this week.
Sweet.
All right, thanks for coming on, Danny.
Thanks, Danny. Have a great good luck this week, and have a great season.
Thank you.
It is a junior quarterback from the Medina Bees, Danny Stoddard. He is the first G&G Fitness Equipment Player of the Week, as voted on by the fans. He got 47.6% of the vote out of 349 votes, just edging out Ty Hurst from Talmadge, with Jayvon Williams at third and Mark Reed at fourth. So two great quarterbacks. One who has been in the varsity scene for quite a while and is very comfortable where he is on that team, and Danny just kind of getting his varsity legs underneath him, but has a great team around him, and he certainly distributed the ball very well last week against Warren Harding, and they'll certainly have their work cut out this week against a five-time defending regional champion in Avon there. What a very, very good interviews, very, very bright kids. And, as people who are watching us will come to see, we will be getting more players, potentially some coaches on over the course of the season. That's a big part of our show. So we went over the G&G Fitness Equipment Player of the Week. Where are we going next week? This week? Where are we two featured games of the week? Where are we going?
Josh, do you want to start? I know I you know what, I didn't even go over the Southwestern Conference, some of the games going on, but
Please, have at it.
North Ridgeville will take on Valley Forge. You kind of went over some of them. Medina at Avon. We have Elyria at Bedford, Brecksville at Avon Lake, Nordonia at Berea-Midpark, Olmsted Falls at Brunswick, Amherst at Buckeye, and Strongsville at Midview. And I am actually going to head to Avon, and I'm going to get a glimpse of the Medina Bees versus the Avon Eagles. I know Coach Elder will probably be pretty tan coming from Florida, and see Danny. We had a chance to talk to Danny, and he looked like he got a little bit of sun. So it's going to be a great matchup, though, when you look at Medina and Avon. I think both of these teams, the offenses are early on showing out, as Danny would say. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm interested to see how these defenses are going to do against each other. Last year it was a great game. Medina got the edge there and got the win. I think it's going to be fun to see how Avon's fans are going to be. It's always a pretty packed house there, and there's plenty of room for the visitors. So I think it's going to be a great game, and I'm excited to head to it this Friday night.
I'm also going to be interested in how Avon's going to play, because they got a win last week, but they didn't play a game. They had a business trip down to Florida, but didn't have to really take any competitive hits, if you will. So this will really be their first game against live action in a game setting for the year. So we'll see if Avon comes out with any sort of rust, or if it takes them a little bit to get their legs underneath them, and on the other side, if they how their conditioning is going to be at the end of the game against a team in Medina that definitely outlasted Warren Harding last week and really came alive in the second half.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ed. I mean, not playing in week one, and I guess I mean I tried to look to see what happened, but I don't know if it was weather or if the other team couldn't make it. I have no idea how or what happened there, but it looked like they had a forfeit winner. It said they won 7-0. So we'll have to get information about that. But not playing that week one, I think, is huge for Avon, especially when you're going to be playing a very good Medina team who played really well in week one. And like we talked to Danny Stoddard, you can't compare him to Drew Aller. Drew Aller is an unbelievable talent, and Danny is a great talent as well. But they play, probably there's some differences there. And I think Danny has a lot of talent. I mean, first game throwing 4 touchdowns, that's impressive. And he has Brennan Schramm, I believe there, right? Still, Josh, he has.
Yeah.
So he has a little bit of veteran leadership there to help him out.
Yeah, he definitely is still there, and he's definitely one of the leaders on offense. Coming back with a huge game. I believe he had 9 receptions for 104 yards. He's going to be there making plays all season long. The second of our featured games is going to be another SWC GCC crossover matchup, Olmsted Falls and Brunswick. Usually I make my annual trip back to the old stomping grounds of Brunswick around week 2. And it just so happens my daughter wants to go to the game, so I have to take her with me.
Oh, wait, is she going to be doing is she going to be in front of the video camera? And
no, she's going to be sitting in the stands, not paying attention to the game, talking with friends. You know how normal 13-year-old girls do it at a high school football game. But needless to say, she will be there hanging out with her friends, but I will be there as well. I'm looking forward to seeing the Olmsted Falls Bulldogs with their high-powered run game with Rocco Conti and that stout offensive line. And I'm interested to see how Brunswick's going to do. They're a young team. We talked to Coach Manzoni earlier this month, and they seemed like they were a team that have a few playmakers, but definitely a team in transition. They did have a sophomore quarterback starting last week, so I'm sure they're going to continue on with that development and growth. So it's nice to be going close to home, close to Studio J, but it will be Brunswick hosting Olmsted Falls in my week 2 featured game of the week.
And that was this is a rematch from a week 2 battle last year where Brunswick went to Olmsted Falls and came away with a 28-21 victory over the Bulldogs there. So Olmsted Falls was certainly looking to get a measure of revenge there as well. So that is our week 1 high school football recap. We covered the Suburban League, the Great Lakes Conference, the Greater Cleveland Conference, and the Southwestern Conference. We talked with Holy Name quarterback Jayvon Williams and Medina quarterback Danny Stoddard. Danny Stoddard also won our G&G Fitness Equipment Player of the Week. He was named. He got the most votes on our poll there. Our poll is on our Twitter page at SOT Podcast. Again, you're watching us live on YouTube at Sports on Tap. Check out our Facebook page, Sports on Tap, and also our website, sportsontappodcast.com. Send us any and all stats, information, pronunciations to our email, sportsontappodcast@gmail.com. If you want us to come to your games, let us know. We're happy to go within our coverage area. If there's some areas we haven't been to and you guys want us there, hit us up, and we'd be more than happy to make that happen. We're here for the fans. We're here for you guys. We're here for the programs. One more mention of our sponsors: G&G Fitness Equipment, LiveFit.com, RRT Productions, www.rrt-productions.com, GV Artwork, gvartwork.com. Use the promo code ONTAP10 to get your 10% off of your order. Ray Felton, State Farm in Hudson, rayfelton.com. You also give him a call at 234-284-2996. And last and certainly not least, Bandwagon Fantasy Sports, our newest sponsor, www.bandwagonfantasysports.com. Guys, great work on week 1. Looking forward to the games coming up this week. Again, we will be at Avon for Medina versus Avon, and we will be in our backyard in Brunswick for Olmsted Falls against Brunswick. For Rob Troutman, Josh Jeffy, and Sean Duffy, my name is Ed Dick. We will see you on the other side.